Sky Outdoors, powered by Town Pump, fueling your next outdoor adventure, is also brought to you by Counter Assault, your ultimate protection in the wild. Montana Army Navy, get it, get out, and live it. McKenzie River Pizza, the best pie in the big sky. Bob Ward's, everything outdoors, Montana style. Glacier Real Estate, your real estate connection to Northwest Montana. And the Outdoor Report is provided by Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of Big Sky Outdoors. I'm Matt Redding, here with Daryl Lane. It's mid to late November. It's a typical Flathead day, a little cloudy, a little cold. But we're gonna go out and go after some Lake Superior whitefish today.
That's right, Matt. You know, last year we went out with the guys from Snappy's. They took us out here on the river. They showed us the techniques to use, the jigs and stuff like that. This year we're on our own. We're taking what they taught us, and we're going to go out there and try to fill some coolers. Today it's all about putting meat in the freezer, having a great time fishing.
Yeah, we're gonna throw some streamers while we're out there too. We're going between the holes. Be kind of fun. Maybe we can pick up occasional cutthroat or large rainbow that are staying behind those whitefish and get into a little bit of fly fishing too. And we're gonna do a little bit of a recipe later on in the show as well.
Awesome. So great day for fall fishing.
Let's go do it.
We're jumping from hole to hole that holds these whitefish. This is the time of year where they spawn. They come up into the river here and do their spawning. They're looking for areas of the water that are breakwaters, still water. They love deep water as well. So if you can find a pocket that's off the main channel that holds some really deep water, has very little current in it, that's usually where you're going to find these fish. Well, today we're parked in one of my favorite holes for catching whitefish, and before we get started, we're going to talk a little bit about tackle here. We got some specialty items though that are really good just for the whitefish themselves. What you'll see a lot of people fishing are these Mike's crawlers. There's a little speckle crawler here, various colored jig heads in different sizes. That works really good. This is a local bug tied by a good friend of mine named Neil Zundel. And it's just a jig with a little bit of marabou and flashabou in there. He likes to cover the heads so that the whole thing is covered with a skirt, and that makes it a little softer. And a lot of times these whitefish will hold on to them longer when they're like that. We're going to be using jigs in the 1/4 to 1/16 ounce size. We've got a lot of current and a lot of flow, and you want the jig down to the bottom so it's a little heavier than your standard 1/16 size jig that we normally use for crappie or smaller fish like that. As these fish are really not eating this craw or this jig for food, when they're spawning like this, what they're doing is they're protecting their spawning beds. And so anything that's coming in there to eat the eggs, they're going to defend that area. And that's what they do, is they trigger strikes onto these jigs. And fortunately they do that because that allows us to catch these whitefish. So that's a fish, boys. Right there, fish on. Now these guys can fight. This is what we're talking about right here. Do you hear that reel? These guys get in that current and it's on. That's what makes these whiteys fun. Matt and I are diehard fly fishermen, as you guys know. But I tell you what, it is so awesome to be able to take a break, get your jig and rod, bring your kids out here, and like we talked about, we're working on catching some fish for the freezer. There are thousands of these fish in the river. So this is a fish that we feel good about taking home and filleting and putting some meat in the freezer with. Now these whitefish have got pretty soft mouths, so you don't want to horse them too much because they'll pop off and you'll lose them. This is what we're after, folks. This is the Lake Superior Whitefish. Big fish, nice meaty fish, good white flaky meat. Just like its cousin, the mountain whitefish, just a little round bubble nose, real soft mouth fish. We lose a lot of them because it's hard to keep a hook in them, but this is what we're gonna catch and fill our cooler with today.
As we're traveling between holes, as we're targeting these Lake Superior whitefish, I'm also throwing a streamer. What happens is these rainbows and cutthroat will hang right below those whitefish looking for those eggs.
It's also just a great time of year as these rainbows and cutthroat are trying to bulk up for the winter season. They want some meat. They want the big steak. And so they're willing to come after these larger streamers like we're throwing today. Any color will work. Anything from gold to silver. Can't go wrong with blacks. Anything like that will work great. I'm actually throwing right now one of my favorite. I've mentioned it lots of times before. It's the Sparkle Minnow by the Montana Fly Company. It's a great fly. This one is the silver and black color that they offer. And just throwing it to the bank and strip it in nice and slow. Oh, there's a fish. There we go. Yeah, nice. Anytime you can catch a cutthroat or a rainbow this time of year, late November in northwest Montana, take it. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Great little bow. Thanks, buddy, for playing. A week from now, it's gonna be too cold to do this anymore, so we'll take him any day. He's awesome.
Just bring your ice suit.
Thanks, buddy.
Since 1953, Town Pump has proudly served our communities as Montana's best convenience store. Town Pump offers a huge selection on all your favorite products, and we're always expanding to meet your needs. This month's specials include Budweiser, Miller, and Coors 30 packs, just $21.99. Corn dogs are 2 for $2, and 32-ounce fountain drinks only $1. Town Pump is here to serve your community, so come visit Montana's best convenience store today.
Glacier Real Estate understands why you live, work, and play in Northwest Montana. Let Tim Gravel and Kenyon Matheson help you buy or sell your next piece of the Montana dream. Call Tim or Kenyon of Glacier Real Estate today.
Find your next adventure at Bob Ward's Sports and Outdoors. Bob Ward's Sports and Outdoors, Montana style.
Hey, there's a fish. There we go. Cool. Little bow or cutthroat. We'll see what he is when we bring him up here. But yeah. It's fun this time of year, you know. It's just right on the verge of just being too cold to really get out and do a lot of this, but it's still fun when you can still catch a couple nice little trout like that. Nice little cutthroat. I'm digging him. He's nice. Good memory to have, and 2 months from now when there's 3 feet of snow on the ground and all you can think about is summertime. But that's what skiing and snowboarding is for, right? Thanks, buddy.
Well, the sun's setting on our first day of white fishing over here. We're just gonna come back out and try it again on another day. We still had an awesome time. Matt did a good job slinging some streamers and stuff, and he's hooked quite a few trout and landed a few, so that was always fun. But we'll get out here and try this again.
We're back out here on the Flathead River. Day number 2. Yesterday, as you might recall, we came out with Daryl and we took his raft down the river, and we were able to do a little bit of fly fishing and also target a couple different holes that these Lake Superior Whitefish hold in. Honestly, it wasn't that great of a day. I think we caught 1 or 2 whitefish all day. We caught 2 or 3 cutthroat on a streamer, but generally speaking, it was pretty slow. So we're back out here, day number 2. We know they're in here. We've seen several this morning jumping around just right here in this holding water. And so we're gonna go back after them this morning. It's pretty cold this morning. It was down in the teens. Our eyelets, you can see on our rod here, are icing up just a little bit, but it's a beautiful sunny day, and it feels really good to be out in the sun. So we're gonna give it a shot here for another 2 or 3 hours to see if we can't pick up some fish.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, there's a whitey. Cool. He's not a real big one, not compared to what they can be. A lot of times they can be, 2 or 3 pounds is generally kind of what you're catching, but he's not a bad. Yeah, not bad at all. Got a really beautiful color on these fish, just nice silver color. Glistening in the sun there, got a little bit of tint of blue on there as well. Great little fish, they eat super good. I'll tell you what, you cook these up with make some fish tacos out of these things, there's nothing better. They are so good. So we'll go ahead and throw him in the cooler and we'll keep him. Why not? Let's go catch another.
Colby Brusso. Yeah, I'm from Kalispell. I was born in Fairbanks, Alaska, and my family grew up and was raised in whitefish. And so for Lake Superiors, I've been fishing for them now pretty steady for a couple years. This will be my 2nd year solid, but I think pound for pound, they're probably one of the toughest fighting fish in the state. And excellent to eat.
Yeah. So we've been out fishing this morning and caught a few, but guess who we ran into? The man, the myth, the legend, Chanty from Snappy's in Kalispell right here. This is the guy that knows how to catch these Lake Superior whitefish.
Nice average size male.
What's the secret to today's, when it's nice and bright and sunny like this? How do we catch these things?
Well, I scaled down in size a little bit, pretty small. A lot of times a brown color will work pretty good. I'm gonna try that here pretty quick, but I kind of scaled down because they're a little finicky. They're not out and moving a lot when it's real bright and sunny out. So scaled down in size, and a lot of times that a little bit more of a finesse bait will get them. They're fun. They're neat fish. There's lots of them in there, so they're good eating fish.
Army-Navy is your hunting headquarters. It's the best place around when you're serious about saving money on the things you need to go hunting. Knife sharpeners, wool gloves, backpacking meals, optics, socks, boots, insoles, stoves. Why, it's a virtual hunter's checklist. All name brands and all at fantastic savings. On Highway 2 in Evergreen and Highway 93 in Whitefish. MontanaArmyNavy.com.
You know, last year on our segment we did with Snappies, we showed you how to fillet fish, and we're going to do it again because it is a little bit tricky with these whitefish. They've got great meat on them, and you know, there's some techniques that'll help you salvage as much meat as you can. So we're going to start with just one cut under this fin. We're going to come all the way back around here. And then on top, I'm going to start guiding myself along the backbone. So I start right on the at the fin, and we cut on back through the tail. We're going to swing them around, do the same thing here. Cut this one all the way back up to the head. And then what I usually do is I'll flip it over and go ahead and slice the middle open. And we're going to just come right across here, and I'm going to cut right through these pin bones. Right through the rib bones, all the way down to the tail. And all the way off. So that's the beginning of our first fillet right there. So then I'm going to turn him over, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Pressing against the bone pretty hard, because I don't want to leave any meat on that. And then we're just going to flip him over and cut the skin. Same way. So at this point you have a nice fillet, and depending on how you want to cook it, if I was going to put this on the grill, I would just leave it whole. But if I'm going to fry it and make tempura batter, or if I'm going to bake it, then I'm going to go ahead and cut out the pin bone. So the pin bone lays right in here, and when you run your fingers across that, you can actually feel it, okay? It only goes 2/3 of the way down the fish, so it ends right here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cut that piece off that has no bone on it. And then where the pin bone is right here, we're just going to cut right alongside of it. So you're going to get about an inch wide piece at the top. And then once again, you can still feel that. So we're going to cut on this side of it this time. And then that's the section that has the bones in it. And now I have 3 pieces of good filleted meat right there. So that's the trick. When you catch a bunch of these fish, that can fill up a freezer in a hurry. Now they're ready for the frying pan. Had a great day of fishing today. Now we're back at our house. I'm Daryl Lane, and this is my wife, Rosemarie. So what we've got here is we got some filleted mountain whitefish, and we've got enough to feed about 2 or 3 people.
We're gonna take an entire stick of butter. You gotta love butter if you're gonna love fish. It just enhances the flavor and makes everything really delicious. And you're gonna let this melt down. You want to do this over a medium high heat. You don't want your butter to burn because that will change the flavor of the butter and hence change the flavor of your vegetables. So I'm just going to toss in some of those little mini peppers, some green onion, and then of course, nice little touch. The citrusy taste of the cilantro is just going to add a great little flavor to this baked fish. And then, just to add a little punch to it, I'm going to put in a little bit of minced garlic. Being Italian, you can't ever have enough garlic in your food. I'm not going to cook the vegetables down all the way. They're just going to be halfway cooked down because they're going to finish baking when they're in the oven with the fish.
So while Rose is finishing up the topping here, we're going to take our fillets and we're going to line the casserole dish with our filleted whitefish. So I'm just going to lightly coat our fish with a little bit of seasoning salt. So the last step before baking is we're just going to go ahead and add the topping that Rose put together earlier. We're going to scatter it all over the top of the fish here. All right, that's our last step. Finish it off with some paprika. We've got our oven set at 445 degrees, 450, somewhere in that neighborhood. Only takes like 15 to 18 minutes. Now go wash your hands, be ready for dinner. It'll be served in just a minute.
Glacier Real Estate understands why you live, work, and play in Northwest Montana. Let Tim Gravel and Kenyon Matheson help you buy or sell your next piece of the Montana dream. Call Tim or Kenyon of Glacier Real Estate today.
All right, our 18 minutes are up. The timer just went off on the oven, so we're gonna get in here and see what the fish is looking like. Here we go. Set that right out here on the hot pad. Nice and sizzling and boiling, and you can see that the topping rose made and the butter, kind of our scampi sauce, is baked all around that fish, and it's looking pretty good.
It does. Looks delicious.
Looks great.
I think we need to plate up and eat.
I'm ready.
I'm hungry.
So here we have our finished dinner. Rosemary, thank you so much for your help. It's been
Thank you.
great having you on the show today. We're ready to have our dinner. We've got our fresh baked whitefish with our steamed rice, tossed salad, steamed asparagus, one of my favorites. We have some chips and guacamole as an appetizer. There's only one thing more fun than catching these fish, I think.
It's eating them.
That's eating them.
Here's this week's outdoor report by our friends at Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
On a clear day, a unique recovery mission is underway in the Paradise Valley. A beacon from a wolf collar being monitored by FWP biologists was tracked to the Yellowstone River.
I was expecting to find this wolf on Dome Mountain, but instead we found it under this bridge.
The collar had been placed on a young female wolf to keep track of her pack.
You can see that this collar's been cut, so that probably means that this wolf was illegally taken.
This collar, this 4-pound VHF collar, provides invaluable information to wildlife biologists.
It's a really effective tool for tracking wolves, helps us understand where they go, how many there are. When they interact with livestock, it helps us deal with the consequences if there are conflicts. It helps us inform producers that there are wolves around.
Without these collars, biologists would be forced to track the old-fashioned way, on horseback or in other ways which take more time and cost more money in the long run. And keeping an eye on wolves is different than monitoring deer and elk, which tend to use the same areas year after year.
For wolves, they're extremely elusive. They cover huge territories, on average in Montana, 220 square miles. So because of that, this is really our most effective tool to figure out what they're doing and where they're going.
In any given year, FWP will have 40 to 50 packs collared around the state. It's an ongoing effort to understand Montana's wolf population. Andrea Jones, out among Montana's fish, wildlife, and parks.
Being out, I mean, the views, the mountains, just listening to the river run by you and trying to outsmart a fish. But I don't know what it is. Ever since I've been about 4, couldn't get a fishing pole out of my hand.
Thanks for joining us this week on Big Sky Outdoors. It's been really fun to get out here in late November and go after some of these Lake Superior whitefish. It's great to run into Chansey from Snappies as well. It's a wealth of information. If you guys want to get out and fish for Lake Superior whitefish, make sure you swing in to Snappies and talk to Chansey or Kirk there. They'll set you up with everything you need. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Big Sky Outdoors.